One of the guys sent me this video concerning the divorce of these two comedians, Tom Segura and Christina Pazitsky, or however you say her last name. I'll just call her Christina. And at first I was wondering why he was bothering. But as I watched the video, I realized there's this unjust bias against the man and for the woman on display in this video. It's completely unjust and uncalled for. Now, you'll see it, the unnecessary bias in this douchebag American redact. And also you'll see it in the comment section too. But when I was through listening to the video, they had nothing on display that should suggest that I should be on her side for some reason. Matter of fact, this divorce isn't even a messy one. She even says so. So the only thing that we should be doing is being neutral, saying, oh, that's too bad they're breaking up, right? That's not the case. Anyway, let's hear this.
Listen, I did want to talk to you, Duncan. Duncan, you may have noticed that Tom and I have not been podcasting together for the last few months.
Yeah, I've been wondering about that.
And you may have seen some stories.
I thought it was bullshit. I thought it was misinformation.
Clearly. But I just wanted to let you know.
Oh, by the way, I've heard of Tom Segura. I haven't heard of Christina at all. Right. So he's obviously the greater of the duo, and that's why she married him.
And the other staff members here that the rumors are true.
Oof.
That your daddy and I are divorcing.
All right, so it looks like the rumors about Tom Segura and Christina P. getting divorced were actually true. Because as of this morning, Christina finally confirmed it during an episode of her podcast with Duncan Trussell. And of course...
Yeah, so what? Divorce is a natural state. Redact, or how do you say your last name? Redact. Divorce, women get married knowing they're going to get divorced. If they couldn't get divorced, they wouldn't get married. How is this news in any way?
Course, without Tom Segura. I mean, this guy really has a talent for making himself look way worse than he probably needs to. Like, Tom still hasn't even mentioned this entire thing.
Girl.
Oh, so just because he hasn't milled sympathy like his wife's doing now, he's the bad guy. You do see what I'm talking about, Redact. What you just said isn't a sign of bad character whatsoever. So this guy is keeping his heart private, and therefore he's the bad guy? Says you. Let's continue.
Oh,
You
yeah.
all right? How you doing?
Yeah, I mean, look, I just want to formally address it to the audience. Yes,
Wait, she's milling sympathy here. That's what she's doing. She's saying, this is a time to make something about me, right?
Tom and I are divorcing, and it is extremely sad. It's sorry, I don't know if I was going to cry this soon. It is very sad. That being said, we have tried to work it out for several years for the sake of our children and our family.
People don't give a shit about their children. I'm letting all you guys who watch this video know that. She's trying to claim the higher ground. It was just divorce time.
And we gave it all we could, but we just couldn't work things out. We are no longer a couple, but we make the children a priority. And
they've been together for 20 years. How old are their children? How old are their children? Are they like tiny after 20 years of marriage? I'm just curious. Let me see what their ages are. Oh, they are young. They're 10 and 8. Right. So they've been together for 20 years. And it's only the last 10 years that they produce children? Right. Because women don't get married to men to have children. They get married to them to have an easy life. Tom Segura, however you say his name, he was the bigger act. He was higher on the display. That if it was reversed, she would have divorced him long ago.
Look, we had 20 amazing years together, and that's a really good run, I think, in a marriage. 20 years.
It's fantastic run, which means two things. One, she is low on the hostility spectrum. She doesn't lack it. She's just low on it. But two, he was providing her with what she wanted. That's why she waited this long.
Years together, and we had a very successful marriage. We created this. We have comedy careers.
There you go. A successful marriage is when you have status. You created all this. That's a successful marriage. It isn't loving each other and being there for one another. It's about creating wealth and fame. Her words.
Most importantly, created a family. Cancer couldn't kill me.
No.
You think a dude's gonna fucking take me out?
No.
There you go. There's that hostility that everyone says isn't there. You think a dude's going to take me out? Was Tom? I thought it was a friendly divorce. Was Tom trying to take her out? So she just basically said, my husband is my enemy. Right.
That's what's up.
Boom.
So there you go.
Wow.
It's out, and I feel free because it's been some time coming, and I hate not being transparent.
Can I plug my dates?
Fake laughter, stupid joke. Right. Okay.
So yeah, they officially divorced 20 years after marriage, and 3 years after Christina was diagnosed with cancer. That is a rumor that is actually true. The rumors that Christina did not address in this podcast, however, are the more messy ones that fans assumed of Tom. Like a lot of people came to the assumption.
Yeah, why would people assume anything of Tom? I gotta admit, I don't know him. But if he's a bit of a douchebag, she was with this douchebag for 20 years. Nice guys make women puke. And this guy was giving her what she wanted. Right? If this guy didn't treat her well, she didn't care.
Assumption that this was all his doing, as from what it looked like from an outsider's perspective, it seemed as if Tom was ditching her for greener pastures. But in this podcast, Christina actually avoided throwing.
After 20 years? Greener, what? And what's greener pastures? What do you mean? Careers or just a younger woman? Why can't you just say younger woman? All you're saying is Tom is behaving like a woman. He can monkey branch to another younger version of her. This is standard practice of women.
Throwing Tom under the bus, and that seemed to be for the sake of their children, because apparently growing up, Christina.
No. It has nothing to do with their children. Dude. She's trying to take the high ground. See, I'm such a good person. I would never do that to him.
His mom would constantly trash her dad after they split up, so she didn't want to put her kids through that same thing. So she didn't massively expose him or anything like that, and actually expressed that the divorce was amicable, and that no one should be taking either side. Even though,
again, it's only because she's low on the hostility scale. There's all kinds of women that, get angry that their mothers trash their dads, that then go ahead and trash their husbands during divorce.
most, if not all people have already taken hers.
This is just
back that up. Most people have taken her side. I didn't think there was sides to take. I thought this was a friendly divorce. Here.
Taking either side, even though most, if not all people have already taken hers.
Why would they need to take her side? Again, they're not warring, supposedly. There's no reason to take anyone's side here. They're just a married couple that got divorced. It's typical behavior. What side is there to take, redact? This is what I'm talking about. This is just full-on display of male hostility.
This is just an unfortunate thing. But we're going to be okay. Tom and I are, just so everybody knows, like, we are amicable. This is not an ugly divorce.
Exactly. Okay. So she says it outright. Why are you guys bashing her man, Tom? Why? What has he done? This should be looked at in completely neutral terms, but it isn't.
Like, we're cool, dude. It's been 20 years and we met in our 20s. Like, we met as kids. So, you know, people changes. It's just one of those things. And I just also want to say to people who are, because I haven't really looked at social media, but from what I've understood, some people are taking teams like Team Christina or Team Tom. Please don't do that. Well, look, I don't mean.
She's asking you douchebags not to do that. And here you are doing it in the comments section. Right? What I love about these comments is that men know a good woman when they see one. It's clear that Christina is being bigger, better person here. How? In this video, I've watched all guys. Tom doesn't say anything bad about his wife. So there's no reason to even make that claim. Tom didn't even go to treatment with her. So she can do much better. How do you know that, Danny? How do you know that? Where's your proof? And even if he didn't, all it means is the man doesn't want to see his wife suffer. How about that? See, that conclusion, they never come to. Why would they? The idea that Tom gave it all he could, I don't think she's trying to convince us. She's trying to convince herself. So what? Who says who, Dick? What? Why would you come to such an erroneous conclusion?
To think that I'm all peace and love. I wasn't at the beginning. I was very angry and very upset. And then, but as a child of divorce and as, I didn't want to be my mother who was like, your father is this and that. The father is a piece of, and I'm like, why? My kids are half of Tom.
Right.
So if I'm crapping on Tom, I'm on who half of they are.
That's right.
And if there's anybody, like, I know it's hard but it's worth it because you're sparing your children the misery of
Again, guys, has Tom blasted her in any negative way? So why are there sides here?
suffering.
Yeah.
Because my mother was so bad at shielding me from her animosity towards my father, and it just destroyed me.
Yeah.
So she actually kept it pretty classy in this episode and purposely didn't paint Tom in a negative light, seemingly for the sake of their children. So one could only imagine the havoc.
Again, the children are just an excuse. Okay.
She would have wreaked on this man if they didn't have any kids together. I mean, she's really keeping it.
There's the assumption. There's no reason for you to make this assumption, dude. None. None. This woman just isn't. Apparently they're doing podcasts together still. Is that the case? I better check to see if that's the case. Yeah, they plan to continue co-hosting their podcast, Your Mom's House. Okay, so she hasn't lost anything out of this breakup other than the man she was going to ditch anyway. So there's no reason for her to be hostile. She might change her tune if he decides he doesn't want to podcast with her anymore. Obviously, he's the bigger name out of the two.
Together here for them. With that being said, though, Christina does sort of imply in this podcast episode that she knew that the odds of them getting a divorce skyrocketed after she was diagnosed with cancer, stating that it rearranged her both mentally and physically. So even though...
Really? See, this is where you can sniff out the bullshit. It rearranged her. That's not an explanation of what went on there. I'm going to place it what I believe is going on here. She got resentful. She was sick and he was healthy. She might die. He was going to live. You see, the man is there to serve. So if the woman gets cancer, he's got to get cancer. Or he gets cancer and she's the one who lives. That's where I'm placing my money on.
She made a point to not put all the blame on Tom Segura, her drawing the conclusion
Not all her getting cancer, putting blame on him at all? Did Tom give her cancer? I do recognize Tom as a stand-up. I don't recognize Christina at all. So again, I don't think she had any talent as a comedian. I think Tom just met her. She was a beautiful young blonde woman, and he was willing to like shack up with her. And she was willing to shack up with him because he had the higher status. Typical marriage.
that she knew a big change was coming after her diagnosis really just points to that rumor possibly being true, which is that Tom Segura bounced on his wife as soon as she went through her battle with cancer. Again, though, she never directly states that Tom started that shift, but from an outsider's perspective, that sure is what it looks like here.
When a man sees his woman suffering like that, and there's nothing he can do, a lot of times he does find solace in another woman's arms. That very typical male psychology is always left out or ignored, right? This guy stayed with her for 20 years. He didn't really want to replace her, but her sickness was telling him that he was going to be alone soon. Men put everything to get the woman in their life. So if it looks like she's going to pass away, the man starts investing in another woman. He does not want to see her die and then just be utterly alone.
And I'm telling you, I know it after cancer. I had my awakening and everything. I was like, my life is about to fucking change. Something is a brewing. This is a huge realignment.
Yeah.
And it is. And it sucks. It fucking sucks.
I remember seeing it. I know this is fiction, but I remember this on, what was it? Law and Order, decade or two ago. Probably a couple decades ago, where the guy's wife was sick and he was sleeping around, and the female detective said, or lawyer, I should say, said, how could he fool around when his wife was still alive and sick? And the male attorney, he said, well, it's because he's so afraid of being alone. You have no idea how afraid men are of being alone. And even though it was a fictional show, him claiming that, I knew was based on truth. The writer who wrote that based it on truth.
I mean, these have probably been the darkest years. The last 3 years have been the darkest years of my life.
Yeah.
Randomly, I'm talking to the oncologist and the assistant, and she's like, how's your sister-in-law? And I was like, oh, she's great, because Jane was there for a lot of my cancer stuff, you know? And she's like, a lot of people get divorced after cancer. And I was like, what? Really?
See, this is a typical female thing, right? A lot of people get divorced after cancer because it's not about, they can't stand the stress. Marriage is optional, guys. So the stress is optional. So once you start going through stress in your marriage, you just dump it. Who needs this? People stayed together in the past because men and women need each other to survive. They don't anymore. So, of course, they say, who needs the stress? Who needs the marriage? And again, what has this got to do with Tom? Why is he the bad guy here? These two agreed to divorce. Why is she the good guy? Why is she the victim and he's some kind of perpetrator?
Like, that's crazy. Why? At the time, I really was like, that sounds really. And I think because it really it rearranges you in such a way.
Rearranges you. See, this is where the lies start coming out. Doesn't rearrange you. Is she really claiming she's a different person than she was before the cancer? No. What it is, she had resentment that she was sick and he wasn't. Remember, most women, when they get divorced, one of their priorities is to make sure the man does not have contentment in his life. You see that constantly in divorce. The woman wants the man to suffer. She just can't just go and live her life and let him go live his life, right? He's got to suffer.
Hey,
Whoa.
I don't know.
That is nuts.
I know.
So even though Christina P. kept it classy and didn't want anyone to take sides, this obviously makes Tom look absolutely horrible.
How does it make him look horrible? How? How's it make him look horrible? What's your name, you douchebag? American Redact? How? Was he unclassy? I haven't heard from him. This is so typical, guys. The woman gives her side, the guy remains silent. Like, guys know they can't farm sympathy from their tragedies like women can.
Based on those clips, it's really hard not to assume that Tom and Christina got a divorce after she was quote-unquote rearranged by her battle with cancer. Like, just based on that, and the fact that Tom
See all the assumptions being made here?
just got fit and sort of kickstarted his career in Hollywood over the past couple years, it all seems like Tom left her in search of someone else. I mean, it really...
Well, he has options, right? He has options. And this is something women do to men all the time. Again, no one's heard this guy's side. Right? They lasted as long as most people do. If she didn't have cancer, it wouldn't change anything. She still probably would have dumped him, and he still would probably be around with a younger woman. Matter of fact, this woman, he probably didn't dump her for this younger woman. Again, I suspect he was scared of being left alone when she passed away. That's why.
really seems that shallow. And of course, that's all speculation that fans of the show have been talking about for a while, and none of that was specifically confirmed by Christina during this podcast. But come on. I mean, this is Tom Segura at the end of the day. So if anything, Christina sort of implied that cancer at least had some part in that decision to get a divorce, which is pretty sad for Christina. But the most satisfying part of this podcast is actually that Christina seems to have...
Yeah, but both of them agreed to this. Since both of them agreed to this, then why are you blaming one person? They're still doing podcasts together, supposedly. She's recovered. She's going to go on and live her life.
Accepted that Tom and her just couldn't work their marriage out, and that her beating cancer made her bulletproof. Like, in comparison to the divorce, the battle with cancer was way more difficult. Like, she was literally faced with the possibility of her life ending.
But
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, man, nothing's darker than that shit. Like,
Exactly. And again, I'm going to repeat this. She's looking at her life ending, and she's looking at her husband who's going to live beyond her and probably have a good life. And that caused resentment.
7 weeks of radiation, 5 days a week, and I saw people fucking dying in the hallway. Okay.
Oh, by the way, if all you nasty guys in the comments come in and say, how can you make all these assumptions? Right? I'm free to do it because that's everything that you're doing here. This redact douchebag,
Like,
Yeah.
legit.
that's what he's doing here. You're making a bunch of assumptions that there's no evidence for. Zero. She's female, he's male. So you're biased. against him and for her, even when there's no war going on.
There were people that didn't make it that I fucking talk to every day.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that's suffering. Like, if I can get through this and I can walk out of here and I get to ring this bell and like go home,
Yeah. And you did.
anything else is fucking lucky. You're lucky to suffer.
Again, she hides behind her family, but her family, her children are very young. They're 8 and 10. So for the first 10 years, these two were having sex, but they weren't producing children because she says, no, I want to live my life as this young single woman who's not bogged down. Right? I mean, that's what family actually means to people. Convenience.
Through other bullshit.
That's
you know?
right.
So I think it's safe to say that Christina P. is much more mentally strong than Tom. Like, while
There's no reason for you to say, what are you talking about? Tom hasn't said anything. You don't know what's on his mind. There is no evidence whatsoever for you to come to this conclusion. You just like her because she's female, and you don't like Tom because she's male.
she was faced with the possibility of cancer taking her life and seeing patients she spoke to in the hospital literally passing away days later, Tom's biggest problem in life at the time was probably whether he'd buy the green Ferrari or the red one. So
what? When men get sick and the wife is still healthy, she's in Tom's position. And none of you jerkwads have a problem with that. Matter of fact, you give sympathy to the wife. You say, hey, the wife, her husband's going through this pain. She must be like devastated. And here you are saying this bullshit about Tom Segura when you don't know anything.
probably just grew apart after that diagnosis.
Well, I have a question from the sound
Well,
booth.
you're being resentful. You're being resentful that the wife is sick and the husband's healthy and his life is continuing. There's nothing anti-male about that, is there?
Okay.
If Christina died, what would your move be?
What would my
What a callous question. Now, you're bashing Tom, and yet this woman can ask a question like this with a smile on her face. And that's a Kafka trap answer. I mean, question too. What's he going to say?
move be?
Like,
do you
what
mean?
would you do?
Enjoy my life? I don't know. Like,
But I did like one time.
See what I mean? He's just like, okay, she passes away. I'm still alive, right? By the way, his answer is exactly what women do. Redact. When old couples, if the wife passes away, the guy usually is dead within a couple of years. If the man passes away, the wife usually lasts 10 years. Because it's the man who's invested in the woman, not the other way around. All Segura is admitting there is he's still young enough and still high status enough that he can get another woman into his life.
Time I looked over at him and I was like, oh, that's so weird. Like, you're not my husband anymore.
There you go. You're not my husband. What she's saying is, I'm suffering. You're not suffering with me. A husband to her is someone who is her. He's attached to her. He's not his own person.
And for 20 years, you've been calling somebody this title and this being and this light. And then just like one day you decide no more. And you're like,
Well, actually, again, women do this without getting sick. She's trying to make it about the cancer. Right? Women get married knowing that they're going to get divorced. Again, if there was no divorce, women wouldn't get married.
your brain can't
No.
you can't even understand the change. It's so severe.
And again, this whole thing really just shows how Tom Segura is an expert at ruining his own image. Because
Then how? Show me a clip where he ruined his own image.
let's not forget that back when Christina P. was first diagnosed with cancer in 2024, she addressed it on their podcast in a really serious tone, and then literally 3 episodes later, Tom thought it'd be a funny joke to invite a corn star on his show and pretend as if she was the newer, younger version of Christina that would ultimately replace her. And he actually...
No, the clip, I'm not going to bother showing it because when I looked at it, guys, it looked staged. Her just happened to show up when he was doing this. This is staged. Right. So I'm not going to bother with this horse shit.
Have very, very early stage breast cancer. Womp womp. So,
I feel such a bond already. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's ever since I met you, a few minutes ago, I was like,
So hot.
it is.
Yeah. This is all staged. I'm trying to get past the horse shit. So you're using this staged skit as proof that this guy's callous. Okay, let's continue on. Get past it if I ever can. Here.
trash him during this podcast where she addressed it and specifically made sure to state that the divorce was amicable and that she didn't want fans of the show to pick sides. It really just seems like that was for the sake of her children. And again, if they didn't have...
Again, dude, if her children were so important, she would have had them at a much earlier stage in life. And it was a friendly divorce. If it wasn't friendly, they wouldn't do podcasts together. So it isn't friendly. Again, so she asked you dipshits, not to take sides. And there's no sides to take, but you're automatically taking a side. He's male, she's female, so therefore you want to attack him. This guy, so far in your video, this guy hasn't displayed anything that warrants an attack.
kids, you could only imagine the hell she would unleash on Tom during this entire situation. I mean,
Again, that's bullshit. You're hiding behind the children. How's she going to do podcasts with him? You know, is she doing podcasts with him for the children? If she really wanted to unleash with him, she wouldn't deal with him anymore. So your lies rejected.
even though she didn't confirm any of the rumors to be true, which were rumors about him possibly cheating, or just him having a small glow up and leaving her for greener pastures in general, the fact of the matter is that Tom Segura is still a pretty scummy guy. I mean, he's
Well, dude, if he is, she went with him for 20 years. She prefers him that way. Nice guys make women puke, and they don't choose men for that kind of behavior. If this guy was a douchey guy who was successful, that's who she wanted. That's who women choose.
completely changed for the worse over the past few years, and not showing up for the official podcast where they address it just makes him look that much scummier.
No, it doesn't make him look scummy at all. All she is saying, yeah, we're getting divorced. And I'm sad over it.
To your mom's house.
we're getting ripped because it's the divorce episode.
Divorce episodes! Oh my god!
Get my life.
The thing is, at their ages, their kids should be 8 and 10. Their kids should be like 15, 16, and it wouldn't matter. Right?
Life is a garbage fire. Let's smoke some cigarettes. And
You see, can I ask you guys, Christina here, what's marriage actually for? So for the first 10 years, they didn't have children, so it's not for that. It's to lock the man down into a commitment where the woman can cash out. That's what the marriage is for. So, redact, don't even bother trying to hide behind your children.
And get drunk and eat dominoes. Who gives a By the way, like, what a relief to finally be like, yeah, I started smoking again because I'm getting a fucking divorce.
Yeah, you're allowed. And I'm allowed because I'm in your vicinity.
That's right.
See, everyone, woman gets divorced, she's allowed to do stuff. Everyone has her support, has her back. The guy gets divorced, he's scum. You know, you can't point to anything scummy he's actually done, but he just is.
Can I
Oh,
use
sorry,
your
yeah.
lighter there?
Well, I want to tell you guys people have been really supportive and that's really great. And they're like, you should just take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself. And I'm like,
See, so when she gets divorced, you got to take care of yourself, baby. Guy gets divorced, he gets none of this.
yeah, I wake up, I take Prozac. I eat one Domino's thin crust pizza a day, a supreme one. I drink
Perfect.
wine and then I rip darts. That's my diet.
Perfect.
But I've lost like 10 pounds. It's been really good.
Grief. That's grief Zempic.
So Christina seems
Well, wouldn't it also be your cancer? You know?
to be dealing with the divorce as best as she can and has been super transparent about it all ever since that bombshell dropped from TMZ. Tom Segura, on the other hand, hasn't even said a word about it, even
Yeah, so what? Who are you to suggest that this guy should open up to you? Who are you? So this man keeps his feelings private, and you're going to use that as an excuse to attack him? What a scummy move.
once. Like he's never even addressed the whole thing, even in a small Instagram story, which is
Why would he? Who's to say he owes you anything? What makes you think Segura owes us his private life? And also, why are you jumping to this wild conclusion, this unjust conclusion, that his silence means he's a bad person? I guarantee you, everyone, if Christina here remained silent, no one would be drawing conclusions about her. They just say she's a very private individual.
makes you wonder if Christina P is the only one truly broken up about this decision to separate. Like, what are the odds that Tom's even shed a single tear?
What do you mean? The odds are great. The odds are great. It's just that he doesn't make them visible to you.
Your wife needs to go to the optometrist tomorrow.
I would love to drop her off. Yeah.
That's what she thinks.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea, man.
God.
Yeah, he looks like he's really having a party. So redact, the reason why guys like, well, all guys, Tom in here in particular, is keeping it on the download is because he knows just how hostile people like you are. You think he's going to open up and start talking? Actually, he hasn't bashed his wife once. She's the one opening up about divorce and talking about it and trying to mill sympathy. He hasn't done anything of the kind. So you and on all these rats in here bashing him for no good reason, making all these assumptions based on nothing. Like, you people are bums. You hear that, redact? You're a bum. You're what this response video is addressed to. You're the people this is addressed to. There's nothing to talk about here. These two just got a divorce, a friendly divorce. There's nothing to say about them. It's your reaction to them that's being called out. Frankly, it's disgusting.